Listen, I know you've heard it all. If you can envision it, it's already yours. Manifest the life of your dreams. If you believe it, you can achieve it. You only attract what you are. I know you have been inundated and oversaturated with the same old fluffy woo-woo manifestation talk, and you are over it. I'm with you. That's why I'm bringing you 5 simple yet key ways to actually change your life minus the bullshit. 5 simple key steps to change your life and feel good doing it. Welcome to Life Talks with Lex, a podcast where we keep it real, raw, and relevant as we explore conscious conversations about the human experience and all of life's conditions. I'm your host, Coach Lex, a self-development and leadership empowerment coach whose mission and passion is to bring more love, joy, peace, and empowerment to individuals on a real level. I have a heavy background in human services, psychology, mental health, behavioral health care, human design, astrology, and much more. I am so glad that you're here and hope you subscribe and stick with me through this season and beyond to be a part of the Conscious Collective. Am I excited about today's episode? It's good to be here. Good to be back with you guys. I hope if you're listening in real time, you had an excellent 4th of July holiday. I have to tell you, this was still the highlight of my week. I love recording these episodes, even though they are a lot of work. They're very time consuming. I wouldn't have it any other way. This is truly my favorite way to create content. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I am a straight shooter. I really don't like to sugarcoat my message, dilute it, filter it out, over-edit it for the masses. This is the way I like to deliver it. Real, raw, uncut, full expression. And I'm a huge advocate for that. I'm a huge advocate for people utilizing their voices in a way that is powerful and poignant. And that is this podcast for me. So I'm really glad and grateful that you're here. Today is going to be full of some really good information. So if you're listening in the car, you're listening on the go, you might want to listen to it again and take some notes because you're going to want to retain what I give you today. Before we jump into the episode, I just have a couple of things to say. 1, thank you. Thank you to all of the old listeners, the loyal listeners. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. To all of the new listeners, thank you for giving this show a chance and for being here with me and for coming with an open mind to listen to what I have to share with you. I'm really grateful for you and I'm glad that you're here. Thank you to those of you who have either rated the show on Spotify. Very easy to do. You just go to the little stars and you give it a rating, or reviewed the show on Apple Podcasts. You can still go on Apple Podcasts and write a written reflection, written feedback to let everyone know what is great about the show, what you like, what you don't like, whatever. that is truly the way I am able to reach more people with this show. And for those of you that have been here and have been listening, you know the kind of content and messages I create on this show, and therefore how important it is to get this out there. Because there is a shortage of love, peace, perspective, humanity, connection in our world today more than ever. And it is my mission this year to spread more empowerment, more knowledge, more perspective, more joy, more love, more peace, more harmony on an individual level in order to create that collective consciousness. So if you are on board with that mission, help me fulfill it. Help me fulfill it by listening to this show, practicing, what we preach on this show, which is self-development and consciousness, sharing your takeaways with those that are in your network. I'm starting Pay It Forward Fridays. So if you listen to an episode and you've really gotten something of value from it, pay it forward. Share it intentionally, not just to support the show and support me. Share it intentionally with someone who you know will also benefit from it. That's what this is all about at the end of the day. We go further together. When we are personally empowered and uplifted and motivated and inspired, we motivate, inspire, empower, uplift each other, others. And together, we do incredible things. We become incredible people. That is what it's all about. So, that's the first thing. The second thing is the response I got from last week's episode gave me chills. I am so grateful that you listened to that episode and it resonated with you. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, I highly suggest you go listen to it, because it will remind you of your humanity, of your value, of the value in the human experience, and what life is truly all about. It is for you if you've lost someone, if you are grieving, or you know what grief is like, if you have an appreciation for performing arts and art in general, if you're all about connection and love and joy, that episode is for you if you are just a human being. So go give it a listen. The third thing is community. So I haven't mentioned it this season yet, but it has been in the show notes. I built a community for you guys. Conscious Collective Community on Patreon. It is for you to go and reflect on these episodes, to share your thoughts, give your input, connect with one another. There's a Discord chat for you to connect and start conversations about the show, about topics you'd like to see on the show, about ideas you have, about questions you have, comments, anything you want to see explored. I mean, the possibilities are endless on there. But that community is for you because, again, this show is all about bringing us together individually to create that conscious collective. Okay, so utilize that space to do just that. There is an option for paid membership, and that's just to keep this show ad-free. I don't want to commercialize this show with ads so that I can sustain it. I'd rather not. I'd rather you support this show because you actually want to see this work done in the world. You believe in the power of humanity. You believe in yourself. You know how important self-development and mental health and consciousness is. And you want to show support for that. It's a way for you to get some kind of behind the scenes additional podcast. I was going to say footage, but maybe. Could be footage. Life Talks with Lex After Dark is one of those benefits, one of those bonuses, depending on the tiered membership you choose. And that will most likely be some footage. So if that's something you're interested in, you can read about it on the community. But either way, give the community, give it a look and see if it's something you'd like to be a part of. Chances are, if you're listening to this show, it is, because you already understand and value the connection between one another. Okay, now that that's out there, let's get into the juicy stuff. Chances are you're listening to this episode because you read the title or you listened to the beginning and you thought, amen. I'm done with this bullshit about how I can manifest whatever the fuck I want, like I don't have bills and children and responsibilities to think of. I get it. The issue is we are familiar with this over-sensationalized concept of manifestation that has taken over TikTok, taken over Instagram. It's on every podcast you listen to about how to manifest the life of your dreams. And, creating vision boards or writing about what you've already received in the current tense and doing it under the new moon and releasing what you don't want on the full moon. And you're tired. You can't keep up. And you're still in the same shit reality you're trying to get out of. And you're like, this shit isn't working. It's nonsense. That's because all of that quick hit content isn't really made to get you results. It's made for you to easily digest and scroll through and try on and move on, and that's it. And you get frustrated because it's not working. It's not going to work because what's missing is methodology. I am woo-woo. I am just as woo-woo as the next person, but I'm also rooted in a psychology, human services, practical background. And I'm very logical. I'm very practical. I'm very analytical as much as I am spiritual. So I kind of don't buy the one without the other. Like, everything has its place, everything has its time, but I don't really buy one without the other. And so my approach combines both. It's very eclectic. And it works. How do I know it works? Because I watched the first cohort of my high voltage value program achieve incredible results from these 5 steps, from this process I'm going to share with you. I watched women quit jobs that were draining them, start businesses, dive deeper into themselves than they had in the last 30-something years, familiarize themselves with passion, boundaries, confidence. I mean, incredible. So that's how I know it works. I also know it works because I've done it and I do it. And I can speak to you from experience and also from tried and true practices that I've collected from some of my favorite authors, self-development coaches, professionals within the industry along the way to give you the best and simplest process to really start chipping away at what you don't want and cultivate more of what you do. So this is a really special episode because what you're getting is an overview of what is my high voltage value program. It's a 10-week one-on-one coaching journey that really dives deep into every step I'm going to share with you guys. You get customized resources. You get hour-long sessions with me. We dive deeper into your homework and your resources. And the takeaways, the breakthroughs are unmatched. But you're going to get the overview of it today. The seeds, if you will. High voltage value registration is still open. You can still register if you're interested in going through the program and diving deeper. My clients will tell you, and you can read some of their testimonials on both my website, on Facebook, how impactful this program was and is. So, like I said, if you're listening on the go, you're listening in the car, you're going to want to listen again. Come back and take some notes. Really, it's the 5 V's, okay? And I refer to them as the 5 volts because it's the high voltage value program that I designed. But you can refer to them as the 5 vehicles, the 5 vitals, whatever you want to help you remember these. But they all begin with V, of course. So step number 1, if you're really looking to cultivate more value in your work life and relationships, and you want to change your life condition on a real level, the first thing you have to do is ask yourself, what's in your vault? What's in your vault? The vault is like a chamber. When I think of a vault, I think of an underground, kind of dimly lit, dark space where usually something important is kept and it's locked. So when I say what's in your vault, what's within you? What are those thoughts? What are those feelings? What are those secrets? What are those traumas? What are those insecurities, the fears, the strengths, the weaknesses? What is in your vault? Self-inventory. The first step to taking action on changing something in your life experience, in your life condition, is awareness. And how do we generate awareness? Through assessment, right? So we have to take an inventory of what's in our vault. It's often what we keep locked up, locked away from the rest of the world, sometimes even from ourselves, right? We don't go digging in there because it's scary and we don't feel like dealing with it. And so we have to kind of ask ourselves, what's there? What's there that's causing me unrest, distress, overwhelm, anxiety, depression, etc.? And the thing about the vault is you're the one with the key. You're the only one with the key. So if you don't unlock it, all this stuff stays locked up within you. And we can't really take action that way. So part of this first step, what I want you to do is identify what it is in your life right now that's working or that isn't working. And you can kind of go section by section. You know, work, relationship, family, friends, personal, whatever. What's working and what's not working? What do you want to see change? What are the issues in each aspect or each area of your life that you want to see, that you desire to see change? And I have a process for this in my program, a specific assessment that we use to kind of measure what needs to change. But for this sake, if this is something you just want to do on your own, I would suggest going area by area and asking yourself where you really want to see change occur and what you want to see occur. What's in your vault? What's within you that is keeping this from changing or contributing to the issue? And what's within your control to begin taking action. So we just want to generate that awareness. And you're going to want to spend some time in step 1. You're going to want to spend some time in the vault because there's a lot of shit to unpack. Trust me when I tell you, the shit that we keep locked up on a regular basis that is dormant inside of us and often fueling a lot of what's going on in our current reality is deep. So you're going to want to give yourself a good amount of time to really unpack that. And if it's sensitive information, I highly suggest and recommend doing it with a trusted professional, a therapist, or someone who you trust and feel safe with to really uncover some of that, okay? The second thing, after you've spent a good amount of time in the vault, the second thing you are going to want to look at is values. Values, I know you know what a value is, right? You know what a value is. You're thinking, okay, yeah, like done that my entire life. We covered that in first grade, but values aren't something we always keep top of mind. And we should, because values are the reason that we do anything. And sometimes we don't know what our values are. We've lost touch of them. We have never identified them. We've never defined them. We might have some sort of idea of them, but we don't really pay attention to whether we're living in alignment with them or out of alignment with them. And so we really want to take a look at what are our top values and what do they actually mean? Now, all of my clients, anyone that's coached with me, anyone that's interacted with me knows how dead set on this exercise I am. In my program, we do a real deep dive of values. And it's kind of a difficult exercise because I make my clients narrow their values down to 3, just 3 guiding principles in life as the reason or the motivator for why they do anything that they do. And why are they so damn important? Why are each of these values, what do they actually mean? What do they actually look like? How do they show up in your life? How are they showing up in each of those areas of your life that we unlocked in the vault? And are those areas adding to or detracting from your top 3 values? Okay, so generating more of that awareness, more of that identification, kind of why am I doing anything that I'm doing? Why do I want to do anything that I'm doing? What is important to me? What guides me? And how am I moving through life? This is going to be key because if you are living outside of your values or if you haven't identified them, then you don't have a grasp on changing your current reality. You're not, the key word here is connected. You're not connected to anything. You're waiting for life to happen to you, but really it's meant to happen for you, and you are the creator. So doing this value work will put you more in touch with that. Okay, third thing, and we're going to spend some time here because here's where the manifestation part really comes in, right? The third step is vision. Vision. Here's where all of those cliches come into place about visualizing the life that you desire. And if you can see it, it exists. If you can imagine it, it's already yours. Create your vision board, visualize every day, so on and so forth. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you about vision. And this changed the game for me because I have never been a person that I was super imaginative and I'm super creative, but I've never been a person that has imagined like what my future would look like, or, the details of my future house or home office or partner or anything like that. And you might be one of those people, which is great. I have never been that person. So when I first was introduced to manifestation and visualization, my logical, practical, analytical brain was like, absolutely not. What are you talking about? My brain would not accept it because it wasn't real. Like in my mind, I'm like, that's bullshit. And I didn't start believing it wasn't until I actually saw evidence of the opposite. And even when I did see evidence of the opposite, I was like, okay, there's a little bit more to this than just the visualization. So we got to spend some time here. Okay. So it's a two-part process. Visualization is super powerful. It's fantastic to sit down and really create a vision board and put things on your vision board that excite you and that you're passionate about and that you find aesthetically pleasing and that you are connected to. It's very powerful to spend time imagining what it is that you want, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, all of that. It's very powerful to spend time there and then let it go, right? Because we don't want to stay in a place where we are so hung up on the vision that our grip on it is so tight, we can't receive it. Okay, that's a huge piece that they don't tell you about manifestation. It's not about obsessing over what you want. It's about nurturing what you want. So you want to spend time seeing it, feeling it, thinking about it with love, right? Because when you love something, they say if you love something, set it free. So spend time doing that, but set it free, because vision and visualizing and manifestation is really a two-part process. It's personal, but it's also collaborative, right? The universe conspires with you, for you. And that's the part we often miss. It's not asking and then I receive. It's putting it out there, nurturing it, and actually taking action around it so that the universe can conspire with you, for you. But here's the other part that we never talk about. And this is the work. This is the really powerful work that we do in my high voltage value program. This work is centered around not just imagining what you want, but also how you want to feel. And this work is really inspired by Danielle Laporte. She has a concept called the desire map, and it's brilliant. It changed the game for me because I decided a long time ago, since I was never one of those people that could see very clearly specifics around what I wanted. I decided a long time ago that I didn't want to be this or that. I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. I'm going to label it. I'm going to, I decided that whatever I was going to do, okay? So notice how I changed the verbiage there. Whatever I was going to do in life, I was going to be the best human, the best woman, the best individual I could be doing it. So I focused on the be. Who do I want to show up as? And then what will I do as the function of who I am? Game changer. So when we're talking about vision, this work is sort of similar. Instead of focusing on what do I want and what does it look like and how do I visualize that, I want you to visualize in 5 years, in 10 years, next week, next month, by the end of the high voltage value program, how do I want to feel? How do I desire to feel? What is it that I'm actually after? And this in the program is a very integrative process. We actually do a lot of mind, body, soul connective work to get there, to get to what we're really after. How do we want to feel? If I'm going to be a mom, or if I want to be a mom, or I want to be a dad, or I want to be an electrician, or I want to be a teacher, or I want to do something in the healthcare field, not what exactly is it that I want to be, right? Because that changes. Use the verbiage do, because who you are is who you are, and that's unique and special. But what you do is a function of that, okay? That is always changing. So what do I actually desire for my life? Therefore, how do I want to feel? Because what we feel is ultimately how we behave, what we say, how we conduct ourselves, right? We're very highly motivated by our emotions. So we reverse engineer, I guess you would say, how do we want to feel? And therefore, what needs to be true about our life conditions, our life choices. And within my coaching program, there's actually an entire meditative process that goes along with this in order to nurture what we're after, the feelings that we're after in our life conditions. Very, very, very cool stuff. So once you have an idea of how you want to feel, you're going to move on to the fourth V, which is voice. This is obviously my favorite V because I like to use my voice a whole lot. And it's probably because I have a defined throat chakra, and that's some human design shit that we won't get into at this moment in time, but you should check on that as well. And if you are curious about human design and what that is and what that means for you, and if you also have a defined throat chakra, you can hit me up about that too, because I am a human design junkie, and I will be offering just human design sessions one-on-one, kind of a la carte, if that's something you're interested in. But voice is our fourth V. And voice, what that means, it's two parts. So you should really spend some time around voice. It's about expression, but it's also about consumption and contribution. What is the voice that is controlling our thoughts, our behaviors, our emotions? What's going on up in our heads? What's going on in our belief systems? Are our beliefs expansive and growth-oriented, or are they fixed and limited? Are they keeping us moving forward, or are they keeping us stagnant? And the work we do in this program around beliefs is some of the most incredible work I have ever done, because it is a true game changer in terms of receiving. Again, going back to that manifestation piece, how do you become the co-creator of a life you really want to live? How do you get more of what you want? You have to train your brain. You have to be thinking accordingly. And most of us are not. Most of us are thinking in a way where things are fixed and there's no changing this. This is what it is. And that does not put us in a place of reception. It does not allow us the possibility to attract what we desire. So it's about changing the language that we use with ourselves, carefully adjusting our belief systems and actually training our brain on a regular, consistent basis to automatically be in a growth and receptive mindset. Okay, so that shit goes deep in my program. For that alone, it is an incredible value because mindset, as we know, impacts everything. So the other piece that we cover in the voice module is boundaries. Okay, and asking for what we want, utilizing our voice to get more of what we want and protect it. Again, huge game changer, because what my clients thought a boundary was and what a boundary actually is, two very different things. What you think a boundary is probably not the way a boundary has been actually designed to protect what you want and get more of it. We tend to think of boundaries in our current society as like taboo. Like, we celebrate them. You should have boundaries. We want you to have boundaries, but then it's like taboo, and we don't know how to talk about them. We don't know how to communicate them. We don't know sometimes even how to identify them. And then they're constantly being crossed. They're constantly being breached. And our personal relationships are struggling because of it. And then we're burnt out and pissed off and overwhelmed and exhausted because we see them as like a defense tactic. Like, I'm going to put up this wall and you can't cross it. But really, a boundary is about breaking down the wall to get closer to another person. And that's exactly what I teach. In the voice module, I teach you how to identify what your boundaries even are. Again, more reverse engineering, because it's hard to identify what's not okay, what don't I want, than what do I want. Because we've had plenty of experience with what we don't want. And then what we do is we come up with a healthy expression of those boundaries and what it could look like. It is an absolute pivotal shift from what we're used to and how we're used to thinking about boundaries. So belief systems and boundaries in the voice module. So what you can start to do is look at what's going on up in your brain. How are you talking to yourself? What are you telling yourself? And is it fixed or is it growth oriented? If it's fixed, I want you to try asking yourself if what's fixed and unmoving and unchanging is serving you, and if it's true, okay? And when it comes to boundaries, start to think about what your biggest triggers are. Start to think about what really makes you tick, and therefore what you don't want. Okay, that's usually where you will find a boundary. And then I want you to think about the vision part of it and think, what is it I'm really after? What is it I'm really desiring to feel? And now how can I bring that into creating a boundary and expressing that one-to-one? Really powerful. The other part about voice is using your damn voice to communicate, not only to yourself, but to others. Using your voice, your beautiful, unique voice, the gift of language to advocate for yourself and ask for what you want and what you deserve. training yourself to say no, training yourself to say yes, training yourself to be expressive, because that is all energy, right? If we set everything in the same tone with just apathy and indifference, chances are we're not going to attract much else into our life condition. So practice expressing your wins, celebrating your wins, expressing your joy. It's infectious, it's contagious, and it will help you to change your current life experience if something needs to change. Now, the fifth thing, after you've gone through the vault, through your values, through vision, through voice, the fifth V is vitality. So we've done all of the awareness work, we've done all the identification work, we've done all of the visualization and vocalization. We are in practice of asking for, calling in, and identifying what it is that we want more of. How do we sustain that? Part of that is boundaries. The other part is maintenance. So the fifth V is vitality. How you living? How are you living? And in vitality, I want you to take a look at what are your daily habits? Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, socially. What are your habits? What behaviors are overruling your life experience and which behaviors aren't? What aren't you doing enough of? What do you want to do more of? What are you doing an excess of? Are your habits contributing to more of what you want? Or are they currently taking away from what you want? Think of this like maintenance on a car. You want the car to last you 10 plus years. You want it to run well. You want minimal issues. What do you have to do? You have to make sure you go for your oil changes. You have to make sure you service your car when needed. Put tires on the car. Check your driving habits. Make sure you're not putting yourself in harm's way to other drivers. It's the same thing when we talk about ourselves as a vehicle. How are you treating that vehicle? Are you taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, etc.? Because although those habits seem like little things, they're patterns of behavior that are either adding value or taking it away. And they tend to fall like dominoes, right? Like if we're not getting a good night's sleep every night, that's going to affect our cognition. It's going to affect the way we interact with others. It's going to affect the way we care about work. It's going to affect a whole lot of things. So vitality is about how we're living. How are we nurturing everything that we said we value, that we envisioned, how we desire to feel, and how we utilize our voice and our belief systems? How is that now going to get honored in our day-to-day activity? So take an inventory. See how it starts with inventory and it continues with inventory? Take a hard inventory of what's going on. How are you acting? What are you doing on a day-to-day? Are you satisfied with what you're doing? And if you're not, here's the big piece of every single one of these V's, right? Connection. Well, I don't like the fact that I'm not working out on a daily basis, but I tend to have no motivation to work out. Okay? I might not be motivated by losing weight, getting stronger, doing, cardio. I might not be motivated by that. But maybe I'm motivated by family And maybe I want to be able to pick up my nieces and nephews and put them on my shoulders at a concert next summer. And I know that if I don't start working out now, I'm not going to have the strength to do that. And I'm going to feel really old and feel really shitty about myself. That's just the rabbit hole. But you see what I'm saying? There has to be something you are equally connected to. That is why habits do or don't work. There's a payoff. And the payoff has to hold some weight. That is the thing about manifestation in general. It's really about connection. If you're not connected to the belief, the boundary, the feeling, the thing, if you're not connected to it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Connection is the missing link here. And that is what is going to set your manifestations, your actions you're putting forth to change your life apart from someone who's just sitting down on the new moon and writing a list of specifics about what they want to call in for the next 3 months. I'm not saying that that's not valuable, but it's only a fraction of the puzzle. You have to have the connection in order for your brain, your body, your soul to really digest that this is a possibility. I'm going to change my fucking life. Yeah, you will. But are you in connection? And are you committed? That is the key. Okay? So, vault, values, vision, voice, and vitality. Those are the 5 volts, the 5 vehicles, the 5 vitals to the high voltage value program. You can start today. You can start on your own. But if you've done a lot of this work and you're thinking, I just want to go deeper, I want to dive deeper into this, and I really want to hit that space where I am connected and I need a little help getting there, just book a call. My calendar link is in the show notes. All discovery, all clarity calls are free to book. Book a call and see if high voltage value is going to be a fit for you. See if it's going to be a fit, because this is the overview of the program and there's so much more to it. The absolute gems that you will unlock going through these 10 weeks are just unparalleled. Absolutely unparalleled. This is an investment in the foundation of what is the real manifestation of changing your life and seeing the results you truly desire and deserve. Really, really good stuff. All right? So, use that link in the show notes, book a call. Or if you're certain this program is for you, you can head right to that Linktree link, find the registration form, and register for the program. It is that simple. We will still have a call because ultimately I want to make sure this is the right fit for you and we are a good fit for one another. Because don't forget, this is an investment. It's an investment in your future. It's an investment in you. And it's also something that you have to be committed to. I don't expect you to be fearless. This should scare you shitless a little bit. It should scare you to be uprooting what you know and getting closer to the depths of yourself and changing things up in your life for ultimately more love, joy, success, money. It should scare you a little bit. But my clients know that we're going to work. We're going to work at this. We're going to work together. I'm going to be your biggest fucking supporter. But you're going to do some really tough shit in my program. And I'm going to hold you accountable. So if you're cool with that, if you're coming ready to work, you might be scared, but you're willing to go deep. And you're willing to cultivate more connection and stay in commitment to yourself and really hone in on the things that will sustain what you want, then this program is going to be great for you. Everything is linked in the show notes. And I encourage you, even if you're not someone who is ready to join this program, to start doing some of this work on your own time and ditch all of the quick, gimmicky nonsense that you've been flooded with time and time again. Really start with you. And this is an outline of how to do that. Okay? I absolutely love you. I'm so glad that you tuned in today. And I hope that if you were listening to this in the car, you really go back and take some of these things, these key takeaways in for your benefit. Reminder, if you got something from this episode and you found it to be valuable, pay it forward. Share it with someone in your network, one person in your network, and let them know that it might benefit them too. I love you. Until next time. If you enjoyed today's episode of Life Talks with Lex, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. To stay current on all the latest from Coach Lex, you can find me on Instagram at Alexis Christie Coaching, or shoot me an email, alexischristiecoaching@gmail.com, with any comments, questions, concerns, or topics you'd like to see explored on the show. I look forward to hearing from all of you, and I look forward to the next conscious conversation.